guys, it's Abigail from Ground and Grow Yoga. And in the last podcast, I talked to you about my perfectionist problem and how that led me into yoga. And this week I want to talk about what I call the Worrier warrior. I am an incredible worrier. I think that some of it stems from my perfectionist, but some of it is completely outside of that. I do not like to watch the news because I'm a very empathetic person, and I immediately start to go into a spiral of worry, and this is an issue for my mental health, for anyone's mental health. Worrying, again, keeps you from living in the moment, and it keeps you from really connecting with those around you. Even though many of us empaths struggle with worry, it actually can be very alienating because we feel like we have to solve these problems for other people, or that if we don't spend enough time praying, meditating, trying to solve these problems, that it's our fault that these things continue to happen. And so I'm really good at worrying, and that is not something to brag about, but it is something true. And mostly the part of my story last week was the perfectionism was taking place primarily in my high school years, and I've always worried about things even when I was really little. Worried about the people that I love and the things going on around me. But this came to a head in college, and I got involved in a lot of different organizations to try to help people, to help things to move forward, and trying to stop things like human trafficking and the child soldiers in Uganda and things like that. I went on several trips down to New Orleans to help with Hurricane Katrina victims and rebuilding houses and things like that. And that's all awesome. It was an amazing experience. It's something that I'm very glad that I did. But it reinforced these worries in my life, and it made me feel like things were out of my control, that I couldn't help nearly enough, that bad things were going to keep happening, and that there was very little that I or anyone else could do to stop them. And I started looking for ways to cope with these emotions, and part of it was throwing myself fully into my work. So obviously doing stuff for college, but I was also working some different jobs and doing these different trips and missions, and I got incredibly burnt out. I was working non-stop, trying really hard to help as many causes as I could, to the point where I wasn't really helping any causes fully because I was always thinking to the next thing, and tired, physically and emotionally exhausted from doing these things. And again, just like talking about last week, there's nothing wrong with perfectionism, and there's nothing wrong with being a worrier or being empathetic. But when it becomes all-consuming, that's an issue, because we need to have this balance in our lives. And regardless of what your beliefs are, there's always this idea that it's better to deal with emotions and then let them go. And I was not letting things go. I was festering with them and trying to move past them, but not in a way where I was actually just recognizing the feelings and letting them go, or praying about them and releasing them, or whatever. I was just sitting with them, getting more and more frustrated, more and more burnt out, and then I just kind of closed myself off from all the problems and started doing what I wanted to do. because I felt like I wasn't making a difference anyway, and so what was the point? And I've definitely come a long way from there, and worry is still something that's an issue, and looking at the things in the world that I feel like I can't change, that I want to change, but I'm trying very hard to pick specific causes and spend my time helping with those causes as opposed to having it be an all-consuming feature in my life. So again, when I get into yoga for real, which I will actually talk about a little bit more next week, when I actually get into yoga for real, start to be able to find that balance and come back from that burnout and be able to really help people more fully, because I'm also taking care of myself. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope that I've said something that touches some of you in that you're in that place right now. And if you are, definitely let me know in the comments. Let me know what types of things you're struggling with and where you feel like your life is out of balance. And if you like this video and want to hear more about my story, just hit the like button, subscribe, and ring the bell so you get notified when the next part of this podcast comes out. And I just hope that you have a wonderful day. Namaste.